So how are we supposed to try to be able to make a free business and also have people be able to pay on the back side as opposed to the front side? Oh yeah. Stay till the end to find out. Stay till the end to find out. Welcome to the news. So this is just a slight preview, I guess. If we are trying to go all in the music industry eventually, what we're trying to do is eventually try to get a little bit of a hang up in terms of leveraging opera singing and EDM music, electronic dance music, in terms of trying to go forward with our little brand for trying to develop more music in the future, trying to combine opera music with electronic dance music in terms of our genre that we're trying to carve out into the music industry, if you will. In terms of trying to be a little bit more like a brand that is a little bit more musical, if you will. In terms of trying to segue into like a DJ that like is maybe on stage someday. To conceptually be able to try to develop EDM and electronic dance music productions. So that in essence, when it comes down to it, if there is a marketable sound, that it's sort of trying to come from the opera angle and trying to take the opera sound, take these opera sounds and make them into symphonic changing sounds that are resonating through the ground, but realistically resonating into the functionality that corresponds to synthesizers, taking them apart and breaking them apart and making peculiar ways for them to flow. One day at a time, yeah. So this episode is just trying to be talking about going into the space of moving towards the interest of bringing together all the genres of music under the guise of opera singing. Opera singing, in essence, that is something that's a little bit unique, but it's in essence trying to just have it be a little bit more like food for synthesizers. But that is the essence of the interest, to be able to try to do a little more music for the music industry, in essence, by doing like opera singing and then combining it somehow with electronic dance music, so that in essence we've got the forefront for other types of music to be able to collaborate under the same roof. And then we've got like everything from Frank Sinatra to like jazz music to like rap or hip-hop, in other words, and like anything in between. Probably, no offense, anything but country, yeah, any other types of genre, so that in essence we can have it all in one large musical that in essence can reverberate into philanthropy energy and philanthropy flash mobs, resonating outwards. So I started talking about making a business at the forefront that is in essence like something that we're trying to build, so that in essence we could start for free, we could start servicing people for free, so that we start leveraging value and start developing value, so that in essence if people don't get value, they don't pay, and we're actually starting an office free as well. It's one of the only businesses out there that actually starts free, is in fact free with no startup cost to begin with, because it's called developing a portfolio. That's how we're trying to develop a portfolio, so that in essence if people get the value, then they pay in the second month, I guess, but it's also they're not paying me directly, they're paying into an account that's an investment account, so it's not actually payment to me, so it's still a free service because the payment doesn't go to me, it goes into an investment account, and that in essence corresponds to the essence of continuous ongoing growth that's outside of me, and it has to hit certain marks. It's like an options contract in essence, and once that comes to the end of the year, if it connects with and completes the marks of resonating higher frequency elements, that basically that initiates the payment. So we're initiating an options contract in the midst of developing a service, so at the same time we're combining and connecting, investing with the essence of a business process, whereby we're actually starting in overseas from where I'm at by trying to service people by in essence giving them an option to just go low or high grade. Basically the low grade is just trying to do accent elimination coaching, basically just be a coach but just doing accent elimination focus, and then therefore having the ability to be like an accountability coach and stepping up their game to be able to go from like millionaires to not necessarily billionaires, but hopefully multi-decamillionaires and or beyond, 100 billionaires in an ideal sense. But that's the essence of the hope, is to start with people with high net worth that want to be accountable to certain growth aspirations and interests, to where they're not necessarily doing it alone, but the payment process is what's unique to this episode, because in essence, we're not asking for anything up front, and we're actually trying to freeze all the money that is my payment, so that in essence, they then, therefore, after the first month, just like a storage locker, get the first month free, and then in the second month, they in essence send payments to, like, not necessarily an escrow account, but an investment account. So in essence, I am investing their money directly, and then therefore they can see how this essence of this investment is coming through. And if that investment doesn't reach a certain angle or a certain amount, which is like caused by me putting my money where my mouth is and investing in actions, in essence, at the same time that we're getting a client and trying to leverage that conceptualization of idolizing and putting media that connects, in essence, to that options account. So we're like monitoring the options account to see if it hits the marks, to see if I am investing in a fundamental sense that, in essence, puts my money where my mouth is, so that I'm taking the payments and I'm leveraging them and I'm freezing them into investment accounts. So then I'm calling the essence of those results, like to call the essence of the results. And if they don't reach past a certain level in terms of investing, in terms of like proving investing at the same time, then I lose the whole account and I don't get paid for the whole year, in essence. But I charge 1 year at a time, in essence. It's $25K per year, $25K per year for coaching, in essence, and it's a service that we're starting out just with today, in essence, like, for accent elimination coaching, that can be by the hour, paid by the hour, to be able to help people to accent elimination coach, so that in essence you could just do business better and just fundamentally go a little farther in terms of conversation and such things, in terms of just brushing up on the accent, to be able to try to speak a little more directly for the purpose of business, But in terms of accountability coaching, we're trying to develop a unique system where we're in essence taking payment on the backside, and in essence fundamentally pushing that through, so that we start investing as soon as month 2 hits, so that in essence for the whole year the payments start from month 2, after seeing that in essence they get the value. If they don't even start to see the value or feel the value in the first month, then there's no point in them paying into it, because they're not in essence seeing their trajectory increase. The purpose is to start to see their trajectory increase, and that's the purpose of month 1 being free, just like a storage locker that gives you the first month free, which is a joke. But obviously the purpose is to start the trajectory from the accountability coaching, and then go into month 2, where in essence they have already put money into the investment account, so that in essence it's like something that they already feel obligated to take action on, as opposed to feeling like, in essence, to pull out on. And so we put that all into an account that in essence can be released at any given time, and it's also being invested at any given time, so we can also maybe even split the dividends conceptually, so that it's just like an extra incentive to stay with me, because I'm investing in them, back into them in a recycling sense, and putting that energy back into a recycling process that recycles back into them, so that in essence they have the fundamental interest to be able to focus on what they need to focus on, and then worry about the money on the back end, because ultimately I'm investing back into them. It's investing into like a collateral vault that isn't meant to be reinvested perpetually back into them, because it shows like a deposit on their good faith, of following through with their actions, so that in essence their success is hopefully validated by much greater rewards and goals being achieved and unlocked. So we're developing and creating actions, options, contracts within our system of developing a service for being an accountability coach, by investing on the front end and the back end, so that in essence we're investing in them by developing a collateral vault on the front end, which is like an options contract that develops different incentives that can be released in different formats, so that in essence energy is spurting and percolating and spiraling off of this contract, this energy options contract. Yeah. And finally, let's talk about paradigms. Paradigm shifting, when you give a certain amount of time for different tasks to be able to be accomplished. Paradigm shift, in essence, when you become inside of that timeline. Once you know a timeline has started for a given task necessarily, if you've given yourself 28 minutes for something specifically, then in essence you become a part of that task. You become a part of that paradigm where you're focusing on that task for those 28 minutes. And that's what's unique about setting specific timelines for specific goals, in essence, and trying to accomplish them during those goals only specifically. It's like you're revisiting an old friend, in essence, and that dynamic, that paradigm, that interest to try to accomplish something specific, like a collaborator, for example, is accomplished just through those 28 minutes, and then you go into a different paradigm. It's like a different version of yourself. It's a whole different version of yourself that comes out during those specific time chunks, leveraging time chunks to be able to develop a different side of yourself and develop different paradigms with different time limits, and that at the same time squeezes out results. It squeezes out results by giving yourself a strict ability to be able to accomplish during those 28 minutes, for example, and especially is able to highlight upon and draw and withdraw upon collaborations during 28 minutes. So it squeezes it out like a tube of toothpaste, so that more or less you understand by being in that paradigm that you're like in a vessel and you're obligated to drive that ship to the essence of the goal by a specific date and time, by leveraging time vessels, time portals by having paradigms be sort of established and understood, and vessels to be able to draw upon wormholes to be able to get you to goals by making timelines, by making and having strict timelines to be able to squeeze goals out like toothpaste of Spiritual finance energy, yeah. So now let's take the moment to conclude to be able to talking about looking after all the spiritual animals in the world, looking out for all the animal shelter animals in the world, trying to clear all the animal shelters in the world, trying to foster all the shelter animals in the world, trying to clear all the animal shelters in the world, trying to fundamentally look out for all the animals in the world by hiring all animals in the world as our spiritual guides, hiring all the animals in the world as our spiritual guides in and around and among communities so that we can hire all the shelter animals, clear the animal shelters, and hire animal shelter animals to be our spiritual guides in and among and throughout all of our communities and all cities in the world, all cities and countries and towns. Looking out for the shelter animals and all animals in the world, all animals. That's all for now. Thanks again. Ding Tech Change for Games, Ding Tech Change for Games Studios. Bye, peace, bye.